You're welcome back to this tutorial, full stack web and app development. Alright, and this is where we stop. Firstly, I want to apologize for the long break that I took. Alright, okay, so let's just continue. This is where we stopped, and this is what we are working towards for now. Alright, now we are through with the first page, which is this, and based on the request of some people who said we should proceed with the slide, I will first of all like to apologize because we will not be doing that today in this particular video. All right, I would just like us to finish everything, then we will come back. We still have just 2 pages to build, which is this page and as well the login page. Okay, so after doing all of those things, then we can now come back to doing this slide. All right, it's pretty much easy. We just need a particular library and JavaScript, that is all. So we're building this today, which is this sign up. All right, so the first thing we want to do is for us to learn how to connect our button, how to connect different pages to our buttons. So we have 2 buttons here. Basically, we have the get started button and the login button. So let's proceed, let's continue. All right, this is where we stopped last week. Now, first of all, let us create this page. Let us create this sign up page. All right, that is the file rather, or what should I call it, the document. So I'll say I'll create a new file, call it index.html. No, that cannot be index.html. I'll say sign up. You can't have 2 index, so sign up.html. all right, so since it's quite different from what we have here, so we can't copy the code that we have here. We just have to start from scratch. So let's just do all of these basic setups. Okay, so I'm bringing in, let me key this off that. So let's connect our style sheet. We just say link, that is CSS. Am I correct? Yep. So we've connected our style sheet. What about other thing that we need to connect? Okay, just that style sheet. So let's look at that page again. So first of all, we have this arrow logo, this arrow, left arrow. All right, then we have this H1 text, we have this form fields, and we have this paragraph. So we have paragraph that appears 2 times, here and here, and I think here. Then we have this button. So let us start from the top first. Let's start from the top. Let's just insert this arrow first. All right, that is just pretty much easy. We do that by, now you need to notice this. You need to just notice this padding that we have here. You can see this padding, and the padding is also here. So first of all, let's provide that padding. I think we were using a particular padding, but no problem, we'll provide the padding. So we're starting with, let's say section. Let me just, what do we use the last time? Was it div? Okay, we use div. Okay, let's just use div, and let's use an ID. So we use a class here, so we use an ID. ID is just a selector. Okay, let's just use class, sorry, dot, that is class. Then we want to call it sign up page. Okay, so this is going to hold everything that we have here. It's going to hold everything that we have. So it's going to hold this arrow, this text, and everything that is here. The sign up page div, it's going to be the general group or container, if you like to call it that way. So on this sign up page, let us add padding on the sign up page. 1 padding here, padding, that is left and right padding. All right, so let's copy this. Since we've linked our CSS, let's come to this style sheet. Okay, then want to use comments. Just learn to always use your comments. Learn to always use comments. So this should be our sign up page, since we're having different pages styles on this style sheet. So now this is a class. Am I correct? This is a class. So we're using class, not ID. Let's just use class. Just say dot sign up page. All right, so once we have padding, before we add that padding, let me add the text. Let me just add this text, blah 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 blah. Let's just see where it is. So okay, now before, you see that we can't proceed to that page because we haven't connected this button to the page. We haven't connected the button yet. So how do we connect this button? Let's come back to this index and we'll look at where we have the general button, where we have the get started. Okay, there are different ways of connecting pages to your button. We can use the href, rather. We can use the href, the anchor tag, okay, the a tag. We can use this to connect pages, but I don't really like using this again because most of the time it might want to distort what we have here. Most of the time, let me see. It's been a while I actually used. I don't often use A, but A is a great option. So let's just insert our sign up link. So okay, so I just say dot, since they're on the same directory, sign up. So if I come here and I click sign up, I believe it should take me to this page. So I'm on that particular page where we have this blah 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 text. Now another way of connecting your page is just using simple JavaScript. If you don't want the a tag to affect your design, because most of the time a tag usually affect the text that is inside of it, and I think I've removed that. Let me check the style. I think that's why I couldn't see the text. Did I remove it? Okay, I didn't remove it. So most of the time the a usually distorts our text, but that's not an issue. All right, so let me just show you that method. Just to use your JavaScript, use the onClick event or click event in JavaScript. I've not started teaching JavaScript. I will still teach JavaScript, but let me just borrow some things from JavaScript. Okay, so what do we want to do with JavaScript? We want our onClick event to change our location. So we want to say location dot href, okay, is equals to, now what is it equals to? This sign up dot html. So just say sign up dot html. Alright, I believe this should be in string. Yeah, that's going to be single quotes. So I believe this should also do pretty much what the other one did. Okay, let me just refresh to be sure. Yeah, exactly. So most of the time I prefer to use JavaScript to, redirect users when they click on the button. Alright, let's continue. So now I want to provide, now like I said, there's no padding here. There's no padding, of course. And let me just enter some default text. Lorem, okay, that's a default text. And like I said, there's no padding here. There's no padding here. So I want to provide that page padding. Now, if you want to use this default text, it's actually available on VS Code. Just say lorem, okay, and just press enter. You'll see the default text. So let us add padding here and padding here. All right, so we have to come to this our parent div, which is a sign up page, and we'll say padding. So let us use, I'm using shorthand. The first one is for top and bottom, and the second one is for left and right, which is 1.5. This is 1.5 rem for left and right. So we have this. Let me see. I think it's the same thing. So we're using, okay, let's just make it 1.3. It seems it's too big. So we are using, did it change? I think so. So we're using 1.3. all right, we're using 1.3. So there's 1.3 space here and there's 1.3 space here. So let's continue. Let's remove this our default text. All right, so the first thing we want to have is this icon, this left arrow image or icon. So we can just create a div. Let's create a div dot, let's call it arrow back. That's the class name, arrow back. Now most of the time what I do is so that I won't have to use, because when my styles here are much, I might start having to use the same name, class name, which will make my work bad. So the way I do it is for me to copy the parent name and bring it to a parent class, then I use underscore to separate. So I just say sign up page arrow back. So I already understand what I want to do. So what we need is an image. Okay, so let me look for where that image is existing. Let me just quickly look for the directory. That's my source documents. I'm coming. Okay, let me just look quickly for my source document. That should be on XeonCodes tutorial login and registration. Let me just copy all of it. I believe I've sent these things already. If you don't have access to this file, just go watch the part 3 video of this training, and you get check the description of the part 3 video of this training on YouTube, and you will get all of these icons. So let me just copy this and let us come to this, my parent directory for this project I'm working on. Okay, I think I have it. Okay, I have it already. All right, thank God. So let's just proceed. All right, so it's inside our icon. Inside our icon, then we have it there, back arrow. So this is the arrow, this is the image. Okay, now just for us to scale this image. All right, so since we have this class, we can just move to the image. So that class, the image, because inside of that class, for those of you who are just learning, bear with me. For those of you who are just learning web development, so this is the class. Okay, this is the class, and we have an image inside. All right, so I'll just say, if I want to target that image, I just say the class name and the image. Okay, so what do we want to do now? Another way to target the image is just to give the image a class name by saying class, then let's say left image. All right, so whichever way you want to use, but I'll just prefer to use this. So we want to make the width to be 30 pixels. Let's see how it will look like. Will it be too small? No. Let's say 10 pixels. How will it look like? I think it's too small. Let's say 15 pixels, and I think, should I just look at what I use from here? Maybe I just look at what I use here, so that I'll not, because all of these values are not what you want to do yourself. Those are what UI design will provide for you. All right, your UI UX designer will provide for you. So, but let me just pick the size I used here. That's how to make your work pretty much easy. So where is my back? So I have this sign in top, and the image. All right, I use width. That is okay. I use width 10 pixels. So let's just come here and say width 10 pixels. 10 pixels. Okay. All right. So there's a space at the top. Okay. Now that space can come from anywhere. So let's just make the space come from this guy, from this class. Let it come from this class. So I'm going to be having for this class, for this particular class, this where we have the arrow image, we're going to be having space at the top and space at the bottom. All right, so we'll be using padding for that. All right, so let's just add our padding for this one as a padding. Now before that, let me just show you what will happen. Let me just make this black, or let's just make it red. Okay. All right, so we see where the class is covering. All right, it's just covering the image exactly. So let's add padding to this. No, it's supposed to come here. Well, it's supposed to be here, not the image, but the class itself, the parent. So we see where it's covering from top to bottom. All right, so let us add our. It's not supposed to be there. I'm sorry. It's supposed to be here. Yeah, where we have the arrow container itself. Then we want to have background, just for us to check, red. Okay, so this is what we have. So you can see where the background is covering currently, the space for this sign up page arrow back, or the space for this arrow. All right, so you can see where it is currently covering. So let us increase it by adding padding top. So we're using 1 rem, top and bottom, 0 left and right. Now I can see what we have. You can see the space now that is covering. So this is possible by padding. But if I use margin, you see that it will rather come to the center and the color will not increase. You can see what is happening if I use margin. So margin is like creating space outside of that particular container, and padding is adding space within the container. All right, so but which you can use in this scenario, you can use any one, but I'll just like to use padding. Let me just use padding. Okay, so I have it this way, then I'll just remove the background color because it's not needed. All right, I think that was how we were able to get this, and this is actually coming so much down. Okay, so let us make it, instead of 1 rem, let us say 1.5 rem, but that will also provide some space, much space from the bottom. So I think it's okay like that. Just leave it this way, and let us proceed to add to this sign up. Let's proceed to the sign up. So I have to come here and just say h1 sign up. That should just do the magic for us. You can see, because, and the reason why it's giving us this exact image, this exact font size, is because since I know I'll be using H1, the same H1, my H1 are not different. Okay, I already came here to do H1, and that will affect every H1 on the website. So the size of the font is already specified and the color is already specified. All right, so that's why it's very good for you to plan what your project before you start doing anything. All right, so it will help you to determine what and what you should do and what and what you shouldn't do. Okay, but I want to adjust something where I have this sign up page, for this arrow. I want to make this 1.5. I want to make this 1.5 for top, then I want for the bottom 1.2 rem for the bottom. Let's see. Let me see if it's working. Let me just make this 0. Bear with me. Okay, so it's working. So let me just make this 1 rem for the bottom. Then let's make this top. Let's make the top. Go and read more. Maybe you should read more on. Try and read more on shorthand, because currently this is top, this is left and right, and this is bottom. But if I add one more, let me say I add 2 rem here, then this will be top, this will be right or left, then this will be bottom, and this will be left or right, something like that. So we're leaving it this way. Okay, we're leaving it this way. So let us proceed to these forms that we have. We have 2 forms here. All right, we have 2 forms here. So how do we add these forms? Okay, how do we add the form? But before we add the form, or should we just, before we add this form, okay, let's just proceed to adding the form. All right, in order for us to work on the form, what we need is just to use our input. You can see this form is an input field. Let me just enter my email address, okay, and my password. All right, and in this tutorial, please remind me so that I will show you how to use JavaScript to show image, to show password, and to hide password. I pray I don't forget. And I also plan to use dark mode and light mode for this particular beginners project. Okay, so you can see that these are inputs and these are inputs, okay, that also have a text underneath. So we need to insert our inputs. In order for us to do that, all we have to do is to let's create a group. Let's create a div that will hold this and hold this. Okay, let's just create a div that will hold the both inputs for now. So normally, if you want to use normal PHP as your backend, where you just have to use a normal something like, let me show you something like where you have to do something like this, and you have to enter your method and say maybe post or get, something like that. Okay, you have to do it that way. I don't do it this way any longer, though I'm a PHP developer, but these days, as a front and back end developer, full stack developer, you have to rely more on using JavaScript for your project. So you have to build your project in a way that the back end does not so much interfere with the front end development. All right, so this is just what we will do. So let's just create a group that will say sign up page inputs. Okay, so this will hold our both the 2 inputs. So I just say inputs. All right, let me just duplicate it and let me give them a placeholder. Now the first one is, I think, enter your email. That's what is here. Is it? Yeah, enter your email. So this one is enter your email, and this one is, I think, enter your password as well. Enter your password. Let me confirm. Yeah, enter your password. Then let's just give them a class, different class. Am I correct? Let's just give them a different class. Let this one be email, and this one should be password. Then they have different type. Input is what allows you to collect data from users. Okay, you use input to collect data from users, and these inputs have types because we have different data types. We have text data, we have label. I think we have label type, we have number data. Am I correct? What we call integer in programming. We have, what do we have? We have file type. Okay, I can say file here if I want to collect image from the user, maybe their passport photograph or their CV, whatever I want to collect from user. That is a file. I can just change it file. If it's password, I will just say password. If it is normal text, I will say text. If it is normal email, I'll say email. All right. So for the email, we're not going to be using text to say email. For the password, we want to say password. So someone suggested that I come up with a PDF that will explain the basic of all of this, and there is so much reason with that person. In fact, I have a vision to teach web development, full stack web development for the serious basic level, where we have to explain tags and headings and everything. Now I want to even teach it. I have the vision to teach it in Yoruba. Yoruba is my language, okay, if possible. All right, but somebody suggested that I should come up with a PDF that will explain, for instance, what I just said about this input. You should know them because we have so many input types. We have checkbox, we have so many of them, radio button, and so on and so forth. We have submit. So now somebody suggested that I should come up with a PDF where I will explain all of these things for people. So if you need something like that, you really want me to provide something like that for you so that you can read it. One of the ways, let me tell you something, one of the ways you will learn is for you to read. Don't ever think that you will learn everything from seeing it. Though some people, there's no way you can escape reading. One of the things that determine if you are becoming mature in programming or in whatever thing you do in any sphere of life is that you take time to read on what you are doing. All right, so sometimes we just download PDF and read. Okay, so if you are interested in maybe having a PDF that has to do with this, I will try as much as possible. Just reach out to me directly, send me a message on my page, and I will try as much as possible to reach back to you. All right, so let us proceed. Now we've entered this input, the email input, and these are our password inputs. Okay, now let's just look at what we have. Let's look at what we have. I know it's not going to be looking beautiful presently. So this is what we have. Now if we look at where this particular input is starting, the distance between this sign up and the input, and you can see the one that is underneath. Meanwhile, let us enter our paragraph. Let us enter this paragraph. Let's enter this paragraph by just saying P. Your password should be 8 or more characters. Your password should be 8 or more characters. Is that correct? Your password should be 8 or more characters. Okay. Now that is for the paragraph tag. That's for what we have the P there. Now if we check, we see that the P will also look pretty good. You can see there's not looking like this, and that is because I used padding, but we'll do that later. So let us now style our inputs. All right, let's style our input. So before we start styling our input, we want to provide space from this text and the input, so that will make us to target the parents. Okay, so if you look at the space from here to here and the space from here to this one, so let's target that parent and give it padding top and padding bottom. Should we use padding? Let's use padding. So I want to say for this guy, for this parent, what's the padding? Top should be, let's say top and bottom should be 1.5 rem, and left and right should be 0, of course. So let us see what we have now. So the top and bottom is not actually looking, I'm sorry for the noise you are hearing. Let's just use 2 rem, top and bottom, and left and right. So I mean top and bottom. So this is top and it's looking small, but there's no problem. And this is for now we cannot say for the, so let us use 2.5. Let's use 2.5. Okay, I think this is okay. We use 2.5 for now. Now let's style our inputs. So we'll just say sign up, sign input and input. You know that is how to target input in CSS. Alright, so sign up page inputs. Alright, so let's say for the width of the input, everything should be 100% because it's going to cover the whole space. Okay, then for height, maybe height was 45%, I don't know. So let's just use 45 for now. Then we want to remove anything that has to do with border. Remove border. You can see the border has gone. I didn't use border here, I used box shadow. I'll just copy the box shadow from there. So the border have gone. Now we have to just enter your input and enter. So you see that when we click on so that when we click on the input, you can see this outline, and I really do not like outline, especially it's not needed for this project, though you can get some project from clients that will require that the outline should be there. But for now, since this is not the client's work, let me just remove the outline. So I'll just say outline is none. You can say 0. Am I correct? 0 or none. I think that will do the same thing. All right, so let's add the box shadow. So let me just come here and just copy the box shadow, so that I'd love to crack my head to start designing a box shadow. So I think this is what I used. So let me just paste it here for the inputs. So you can copy this box shadow. You can just copy it. Okay, you can just copy it, the box shadow, and you can go and read more on box shadow. All right, so now you can see that this button has some curved borders, that is border radius, and I think that will be border radius 8. So border radius 8 pixels. Okay, now you can see that there's a space from before the input. You can see that the placeholder has a space, but this doesn't have space. So let's just say I've forgotten what they use for that space, but I usually use padding, but there's something that they use, I can't remember now, and I'm not ready to Google it. No, most of the things you want to do, one of the things that perfects your development work is Google. Don't think you can have everything in your head. It's not possible. Okay, let me just show you how to do that. So let me just come here, let me look for a Google. Let me just open my Google. I just hope it doesn't. So let me just say is that CSS? Okay, input space in C with CSS. Input area space. Let me see. I think this is input area CSS form. Use the padding property to add space inside the text input. Okay, this W3 Square advertising that we use padding that I want to use, but that is not. There's something I used in some of my previous project. I actually forgot it, but you can sit down and Google it. I think, let me see, use the padding property. We don't want to use padding, but anyway, let's just use padding. So let's just say 0.5. Okay, top and bottom is 0, but for the left and right 0.5 frame. So let's check. So we have this space and it's not looking like this one. All right, so let's make that, instead of 0.5 frame, let's just say 1 rem for left and right. So we have that, which is very okay. Then for the font size, 1 rem. Font size is 1 rem. And you can see that for this one, the placeholder color is looking faint. So why do I adjust placeholder color? It's for me to target the placeholder itself. You know what is placeholder now? This placeholder that we have here, enter your input field. That's default text that shows before user enters his data. So let me just copy. Let's target that placeholder. So just a placeholder. This is called pseudo class. So placeholder. All right. If it's pseudo class, it should be just one single. Is it one single or double? It should be one single because it's class. Anyway, is it class? Okay, pseudo element, not pseudo class. Pseudo element. So let's see for the color. Let me just use this and see. Okay, it's looking more darker. So I just have to reduce the color level. Okay, and it's still looking too faint. This is how to just work. Dude, all of these things will come from your UI designer. Don't ever do any project that doesn't have UI design. If when a client gives you a project that does not have UI design, you have to look for a UI design for yourself. Make sure you have a UI design before you accept the project. Okay, there are so many free UI design online. All right, so we can see that there's a space between the first form, the first input, and the second. So let's just target the first input. Okay, how do we target the first input? Is by coming here. We have the class, which is email. So I'll just come here and say for the sign up. Okay, let's just say for the email is a class. I'll just say margin bottom let's just use one rem and see. Okay, I think that is the same. That is the same. Then our input here is larger or longer than the input here. So instead of 45, I want to use 50. Though this is just design. All right, so I think it's okay. Then let's come to this padding. Let's come to this paragraph, the P that we have there. So the P, the paragraph is actually inside of this input class. All right. So let's just target the P, since we have just one single P there, P, and just say padding. I'll actually add padding, and that should be 20 pixels if I can still remember. Oh, 20 pixels is too big, so I think we want to try 10 pixels now. 10 pixels is exactly what I used. Now you can see that this, when I say padding 10 pixels, what I just say is for the top, the left, the right, the bottom, everything is 10. All right, everything is 10. Now do not do padding left and all of those things. So the moment you say padding or margin 10 pixels means for the four corner are taking 10 pixels padding. Okay, so this is what we have. So we are left with, now we are left with this and this and this. Okay, we are left with this and this. For that, we'll be creating a class for this and for this. Let us quickly create a class for that. Okay, I hope you are enjoying the training. Let's just quickly create a class for that and say sign up page button. So this is going to be like our submit button. Now you see that I have not used anything like form, because most time, okay, what you want to use your form, but I don't have time to be using this form stuff. You can always use your Ajax, your JavaScript to send requests. That's not an issue. So sign up page button. All right. Now our sign up page button is having the P and the button. So let's just say P. And what is this our P? What is the data in this our P? Then maybe I just copy this data quickly by just coming here and highlighting instead of having to type. So you see that we have not done anything like responsiveness, and that's enough for now. So we see what we have. By continuing, you agree to our time. So let's add our button. Let's add our button to this. Just a button. Okay, I don't know if we have a button. Let me see if we have a general button class. Button, okay, general btn. So we can just copy this class and add here, and I think it should give us pretty much the same thing. So sign up. What is this? Okay, type button. That's not really necessary, but I'm doing that because of the browser I'm using. So we can see that we have the button. Okay, now you can see that this particular button that we have is you can see the totally round curved edges. That is border radius. So let's do that now for this. So I can just target that button from this place and say for this button, then we'll say border radius. We want to say that should be maybe 30 or more than 30 pixels. So we have gotten that for that. Then let's make the font size to be 1 rem. I want to believe, yep. Now there's actually, now what happened now is, let's check our template. So you can see that this is at the middle. This paragraph is at the middle. So let's just come to this. Let's just come to this guy. I want to say text align center, so that it's going to be bringing everything to the middle. You can see continue. By continuing, you agree to our terms and condition and privacy policy. I think that is okay for now. So you can just, when you have this hour, if you must do this, let me leave it to do the underline. You should be able to do underline by yourself. Okay, this is a beginner's training, so let's make everything the same. So by continuing, you agree to hour. So after that hour, there's a break tag. There's a break tag here. Okay, So we have this break tag. So we have terms and conditions and privacy policy. So how do we underline? How do we underline only this part? How do we underline only that part? Is by using span. Don't forget, always use your span to do special things. Span is more like inline tags. Okay. So it won't show anything, so that we can now style this span, right? So we can just come here and say span. And just say span. Then text decoration is what is underline. Alright, so it's underlined already. So let's provide space between that text and the button. So I'll just say for the text, I'll say margin top, let's say 1 rem. Let's see. Okay, 1 rem. Yup, 1 rem. So now the line height for this does not have line height. That is for the paragraph. Where do we have the paragraph? Inside the button. Okay, so let us target the paragraph. That's the P. We also line height. Line height should be, let's look at 2 rem and see. 2 rem is too long. So now I hope you know what is line height. Line height is the space between words. I mean between sentence. Is it a sentence? Yes. So 1.3 rem. I think we'll use 1.4 rem. So maybe 1.4 rem was used there. 1.5. Let's just 1.5. 1.5. Alright, so this is what we have. So let's do the last part. We have this continue with Google button and this or. That or I believe is a paragraph. So just a P and we'll call it or. Let's see what happens. So it's not on the center. It has to be on the center. So let's just give this a class and say or. Just bear with me. Let's just make it or. I cannot start thinking about name now. Or let's say text and line. With this work, I doubt it if it will come to the center. Okay, center. Alright. Then once a font size, let's make the font size to 1.5 rem. That will be too big. That's 1.2 rem. Pretty kind of big. So let's just 1.1 rem. And let's reduce the font weight. Font weight will make it light. So since we're using Google fonts, so can I use all of these numbers? So font weight, I want to say 400. Okay, now we can see that there's space between this or equal space between the button and this below button. So I'll just say for that I'll say margin. That will be margin top. Sorry, that will be margin for top and bottom. So that will be 1 rem and for left and right 0. Okay. Alright. So the last thing we want to add. Is this button. Am I correct? Yes. So how do we add this? Just for us to come here, let's just copy this button and bring it here. Okay, and let's okay. So let us look at what we have. So we have this. Am I correct? Yes. All right. So I can just give multiple class name. Now this is a class attribute. This class name. Let's add another class name. Okay. Let me just say Google BTN. So for Google BTN, we're going to be giving it a special style, and that Google BTN inside the sign up button. Okay, then Google BTN is a class. Is a class name. So for Google BTN, let's say border radius as usual 30 pixels. It's going to make it a completely perfect cycle. Why is it not working? Let me see. Yes, so why is it not working? Okay, maybe because we use that'll be because we use Okay, this is what I'll just do. Let me just remove this and let us see. Why didn't it work? Oh, sorry. So let's just create a class for this. I was using this tag, this class name to target this button, and it's actually not inside of the button, inside of the parent. So that's a mistake. So let's create its own parent and call it sign up page. Sign up page. What's the name of that? Sign up page Google. Okay. Sign up page Google. so that we can target that button. Though there are different ways you can do that, but this is what I would like to do. Let's remove this because this is actually not inside of any of them. So instead of using this class, which is not where it is, you can just use this, and I think that should give us what we want. Yeah. Then font size also, font size should be 1 rem. Then background this time around should be transparent background. Okay, meanwhile we have a particular border, but we have border there, I mean box shadow. So let me just go and pick that box shadow, and I think that's what we have here. Am I correct? So you can just copy this box shadow and use. Yeah, you can see the box shadow is there already. So we are left with using. Now let's change the color. What was the color used here? Okay, black. So let's use our color. Say color black. So instead of sign up, what should it be? It should be continue with Google. Continue with Google. Is that all capital letter? No. Okay, no. So continue with Google. Please, if you have watched up to this extent, it means you are really serious about this training and you are learning. Please, I want to beg you, help me to share my content on both YouTube and Facebook. That is the way I can serve so many people. That's the way you can reward what I'm doing. Just help me share my content. I don't need any money. Just help me share my content. I really appreciate you. All right, thank you very much. All right, so that is what we have here. Now we're left with adding this logo, okay, which is just doing img, and that should be inside the icon, and we have the Google, and that will come so big. You can see, so big. So let's style it. So I want to say sign up Google, and we'll target the img. So we'll just say width is 30 pixels, and it is still big. So just instead of 30 pixels, let's say 20 pixels. Okay, I think that is what we have here as well. But so that this is aligned, meanwhile this is not aligned. That means we have to flex this button and do align item center and justify content center. So they're going to be aligned. So where is the button? This is it. Just say display flex. Okay, it's going to show somehow. Say align items. That is vertical alignment center. Then horizontal alignment, that is justify content center. Okay, so I think there's a fault with the image itself, but there's no problem. So let's create a space between those. So I'll just say margin right. That's what the text is. Margin right 0.5 frame. So to push the text to the right. So I think for now we are done with this page. I don't know if you are satisfied with this, though they are not looking the same, and that's because we still have to add more space here. But anyway, it's okay for me. It's okay for me, and for me, I even prefer it this way, so that when the user is using it, it's going to be more user friendly than when it is long, so long. So this is what we have so far, and in the next video, we'll be working on the login page or the sign-in page, which is very, very easy. Okay, so for now, let's call it a day here. All right, then after this login page, we'll proceed to the slides. Meanwhile, we have not connected this back button. Okay, so how do we connect the back button? Let's just come to where we have the back button image, and you can just use your on-click event and just say location dot href. Okay, is equals to, it's going back to the home page. So just say index.html. That is all. So what is left is this login. So if you have watched it up to this moment, I would like you to screenshot your work as usual, post it on the comment section of this particular post on Facebook. All right, then please help me share this video. Help me invite your colleague. I'll be very grateful. This is a completely free training, and you are learning so much thing. All right, you are learning so many things. If I can have up to 10,000 in this month, 10,000 followers this month, see, I promise to teach you what you will need over 200,000 naira to learn. I'm telling you. Let me just stop here for now, and later we will continue from where we stop. Thank you very much, and God bless you so much.